Welcome back, everybody. It's halftime here at Homecoming. The Norristown Eagles with a 14-0 lead against the visiting Cheltenham Panthers on the strength of a 2-yard touchdown run by Tracy Presley and a long punt return by Sheldon Mayer.
It's been a spectacular half of offensive action for the Eagles. And really, the defense, though, has been the key, keeping Cheltenham to almost no yards on the ground, and really a spectacular, very solid effort. Mark, I look for more of the same from the Eagles. They've shown no inclination of letting up, and they've shown no signs of stopping. Their special teams clicking on all cylinders, and they've made 2 extra points. If that's not success, I don't know what is.
And Sheldon Mayer actually not getting it going on the ground that much, but offset it with that huge punt return touchdown. And that's what this Eagles team does. They find ways to make big plays when they really need them the most. And, of course, that defense, like you said, just getting the job done. Mainly the defensive line. They've been outstanding tonight, led by Christian Exum, Nick Bloomer, Mark Robbins, and the rest of them.
So as we get set to turn it back over to the on-the-field action, we've just got to say again, the spectacular job the Eagles have done in the first half so far, and we're looking forward to an exciting second half and conclusion of the game here at historic Roosevelt Field at Homecoming.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second half here at Roosevelt Field. It's Homecoming. We have a tremendous atmosphere. We just had an outstanding halftime show with the Homecoming court and all of the contestants being honored. Sheldon Mayer, of course, not only scoring the punt return touchdown, also been named Homecoming King. All in a day's work for Sheldon Mayer, and it's 14-0 Eagles.
A spectacular and very eventful halftime. As we start this second half, Norristown's going to be kicking off, and we see that, first of all, they're a little confused about where they're going, but I mean, that could be forgiven. And number 7, Taylor Hillenbrand, a good find, as you astutely mentioned in the first half, Mark. He's going to be a real asset for the Eagles here this season. We'll see if he can get a good kickoff here to start.
So the Eagles trying to build on what they did in the second quarter when they scored all of their 14 points. I'm Mark Holodinsky, along with Dave Fazzini and the entire NASD TV crew, bringing you football here tonight and all year long on NASD TV.
All right, so Hillenbrand about to kick off. Hopefully the Eagles' special teams domination continues here. The fans are certainly very excited. Here we go.
Waters and Lester back deep for the Panthers. It'll be Lester at the 20, and a good special teams play made. I believe that's 18, Akeem Boyd.
Good play there by Boyd. Good closing speed, as we saw, as the Eagles defense comes out to continue perhaps its domination from the first.
Well, they didn't even force any turnovers, but they've just absolutely suffocated the Panthers defense, just not even allowing them to really threaten at all.
The sacks have been really big. 3 sacks in the first half. Exum had one, Bloomer had one. Number 89, Larry Smith, in there with the sack. Pass pressure's been dominant.
Cropper hands it off. Here's Waters stumbling and gets his way up for a pretty solid gain. He had a pretty good first half, but wasn't really able to do any major damage.
Not able to do any major damage. I mean, Cheltenham's problem was not that they couldn't get anything going on the ground, because they did. It's that the Eagles' defense would just shut them down. Now, we talk about this all the time. We talk about the problem the Eagles have with closing out games. Hasn't been a big issue this year except for the Northeast game. We're going to see here really what they're made of. They're only up by 2 touchdowns. Their defenses look dominant. Can they close the deal?
2 wide receivers split out and 2 in the backfield for Cropper and company. Cropper hands off to the fullback.
Cropper and company crushed completely right there. Nice shutdown, big play Eagles defense.
And you're talking about closing out games. I actually spoke with Ant Roby on an interview you saw right here on NASD TV, and he actually said it himself. that they just got to focus on closing out teams because it's something they know that they've struggled with. And the fact that they realize that that could be a slight problem is definitely a promising sign, because then once you realize it's a problem, you can begin to fix it.
The first step to identifying the solution to a problem is acknowledging that there is a problem.
3rd and 1. And of course, in weeks 2 and 3, we saw no problems with that. The Eagles started out fast and ended fast. Met at the line, and doesn't look like they're going to pick it up.
That was a really solid defensive play there.
Looks like he fell forward, though, and got it.
He did. He did pick it up right there at the end, last-minute surge. Looked like they had him stopped in the backfield for a loss, but
good second effort.
Good second effort.
10 minutes and 14 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. Still 14-0 Eagles.
I mean, time's certainly not a factor. The second half just started, so Cheltenham doesn't have to worry about the clock. But they do have to worry about the Eagles' stifling defense. And they pick up 2 first downs here. You could, I guess, technically call that a drive, but.
Here's Cropper handing it off, or actually faking the handoff and then getting dropped.
Big 65 in there again. Crushing blow by Marcus Robbins.
That play fake didn't fool anyone, at least no one on the Eagles' defensive line.
No. The people it's meant to fool. I mean, the Eagles aren't really respecting the run. They're certainly not respecting the pass. They're respecting nothing, and they're just coming in and abusing that backfield.
2nd and long, and between plays like that and the sacks, the Eagles have had so many tackles for loss in this game. And, man, it's fueled them to this shutout thus far.
Thoroughly impressive, the defensive effort.
And again, kind of on Eagles-like in the fact that they haven't been forcing turnovers and scoring on defense. They've just been having an all-around solid, stifling effort. Here's Cropper with a man in motion, but they'll whistle the play before it gets started.
Looks like that may be a false start against. Oh, they called a timeout. They called a timeout before they get sacked.
Yeah, they were taking their time in the huddle, and I don't know if how the play clock was looking or whatever, but they have to burn a timeout early in the half.
They really have shown an odd lack of urgency. I mean, not that you want to be urgent, because urgency can often lead to nervousness and mistakes. But in the first half, you remember that last drive they had, they just didn't show any interest in trying to score when arguably it would have been good for them to do so.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and the fact that they're down 14, like you said, you don't need to panic. But especially in a situation like you saw in the first half where the clock was running down, you'd think they'd be wise to show some kind of sense of urgency.
Well, because Norristown's given them nothing. They've shown no inclination to be able to really move the ball in a meaningful way against Norristown. So I don't know why you don't try something different. What it tells me is that they have almost no faith in Cropper's arm.
Yeah, it seems that way. Because, I mean, if there was ever a time to let him throw the ball down the field, it would be over these past couple of plays. And we haven't seen anything resembling it.
If they don't pick this up here and they're going to be in a 3rd and long situation and they don't throw, it tells you something's wrong with Cropper's arm.
I don't think I've seen him throw the ball more than 10 yards all game. And that's, largely based on the play calling, not necessarily him. And that's a false start.
Cheltenham continues its long march backward, and Cropper's going to have to throw. You're not going to pick up 2nd and 18 or 2nd and 19 against the Eagles on cute running plays. It's just not going to happen. But they'll try that draw play or something cute. It'll get stuffed, and it'll be the 3rd and long that we envisioned.
Yeah, Kenneth Cropper has really looked pretty bad. I mean, Eric Waters and Teddy Lester from the halfback position have actually been all right. But with no kind of passing attack, the Eagles really, aren't getting harmed by these running backs, however dangerous they may be.
A really fast pace here at Roosevelt Field tonight. Clock's still moving, slowing down a little bit in the second half, but we'll see.
Lester and Waters in the backfield, and they will throw with Cropper. They try to swing it out, and that one may have been deflected. Either way, it's incomplete.
Deflected by 81 Battaglia. This is what happens when you have a quarterback that doesn't really have a strong arm. You end up trying to rely on little dink and dunk passes out of the backfield, including that wide receiver screen, which, yes, sports fans, I really, really hate. You do that, and you're going to get nowhere. Yeah, and we continue marching backward.
Wow. Yeah, another penalty, another false start.
Do you know why these are happening? These are happening because when Cheltenham goes down into their three-point stance, apparently they've mistaken themselves for King Leonidas in the Bold 300 because they make this uniform move. But instead of it being brave and bold like the Stalwart 300, it is instead reminiscent of like a Richard Simmons dance routine with spandex and stuff from the 80s. It's just ridiculous, and they need to stop.
They've got third and a while. And with a quarterback who relies on short throws and lots of running after the catch, doesn't look too good for them picking this up. And quite frankly, we're at a pretty key stage of this game because if the Eagles get the ball back, they're going to threaten to make it a 3-score game.
Great idea. Let's run the option. Oh, wait, that was a terrible idea. That's what I meant to say.
Well, they got about 13% of what they needed. It's 4th and 15.
When you run the option on third and really, really long, the only option you have is to stink up the place with a short and insignificant gain. That's not what Cheltenham needs.
And now Mayer and Denolfi are back. And the Panthers refuse to kick high punts or kick the ball out of bounds.
They're making a controversial statement with their staunch refusal to do either of those two very smart things.
Alex Winter, the punter, he has not been good today. This is a good punt. He gets off his first real nice one of the day, fielded by Mayer at the 30. He's at the 35, goes to the outside. A marker is thrown, and he ends up at the 35, but it looks like the Eagles are going to be penalized.
Could be a block in the back on number 21 there, Presley, but we really can't kill him for that too much.
Right.
But we'll see what the official call is. They're going to call holding.
So the Eagles, unlike what they've had for the majority of the game, will not start out with excellent field position.
They do call the block in the back on Presley, so that's okay. Tracy will shake it off and he'll be fine.
He's had a heck of a game. So the Eagles will start at their own 25. They've been spoiled starting at their own 45 for pretty much the majority of the game, it seems like.
Well, this is truly a time for them to show what they are made of with a long drive today. Well, maybe they just get to try something new. They haven't really had to do this yet.
Roby in motion, but they hand it off to Sheldon Mayer. A big burst up the middle. And a good run by Sheldon Mayer. And do you think that they're going to maybe start to run and take it easy, or are they still going to continue to throw the ball down the field?
You know, what I was calling for in the Northeast game was I was calling for nothing less than an unrepentant slaughter. I was calling for, like, Grendel showing up at Herritt, and he's just wiping out all of the Hall Thames. But what I'm calling for now is a slow, methodical drive down the field. I want to take 10 minutes, grind it out, smash mouth football, punishment, and pain.
Quick pass out to Roby. He's got the first down, and that play, effective, not spectacular, but effective.
Not spectacular, effective. Wide receiver screen. Worked out just fine there. Boyd's going to spell Roby, looks like. Roby's running a little weird. Yeah. Roby's favoring his left foot a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. He's been having slight hamstring problems all year. And I don't think it's going to be something that sidelines him for any length of time, but it's going to be there all year, maybe hampering him. So, I don't know. I mean, when you can bring off a guy off the bench like Akeem Boyd, it's, you know, you don't worry about it too much, but
you worry about it more from a defensive standpoint than you worry about from his offensive production. But, yeah, he's going to be fine.
Shannon hands off to Sheldon. Sheldon to the outside with 5 yards, and he's horse-collared down to the ground. That's an easy call for the referees. And that's going to be 15 yards.
It's like a 15. It looks like a plus 15 there. You can't make tackles like that. If I'm not mistaken, the high school football followed up on that with the Roy Williams rule. Yeah. The Roy Williams rule in the NFL prevents the horse tackle. That's going to be a face mask, and that's an easy call. It's a 15-yard personal foul. Cheltenham can ill afford to make foolish mistakes like that. I know that sometimes as a defender, you're reaching out, you're trying to grab him, especially with a running back like Sheldon Mayer. You're trying to get a piece of him and bringing him down. Don't hit in the head. Don't bring him down like that. First of all, it's unsportsmanlike. Secondly, it's stupid. You're killing your team. Personal foul penalties are a coach's worst nightmare. They're indicative of mental mistakes.
So the Eagles end the play in Panthers territory at the 37. Shannon Mayer hands off to Antonolfi, and Antonolfi with a good burst ahead. He picks up about 6.
Nice run. Nice run by Donalfi following his blockers. Good block there by number 65, Marcus Robbins. Good job by Bloomer. The whole offensive line is working together as a synchronized, cohesive unit.
Boy, Antonolfi's been a heck of an asset to the team this year. Defensively, he scored on special teams, and now offensively, just a very solid running back who's going to get you solid yardage on just about every play.
He does everything. He's the guy they call, he's like Mr. Fix-It. He can do everything.
He's very, very solid. And now they'll hand it off to Presley. And he's taken down about a yard shy of the marker. We've played just over half the third quarter. It's still 14-0 Eagles. I'm Mark Holodinsky, along with Dave Fazzini, bringing you Eagles football on NASD TV.
I didn't get the sense in years past that I really very much enjoyed watching the Eagles play their style of football. I mean, they've always had fairly solid teams. They've always done a reasonably good job, but they always had that wheels come off the bus part of the season because of some things that they did offensively or mental mistakes. There's always been something a bit unsettling about it. I get a different feeling from this year's squad, and I don't want to speak too soon, but they can't play too much better than they've been playing so far in this game.
Well, it's 3rd and 3, but the Eagles surprisingly going with 4 wide receivers, including Sheldon Mayer and Evan Battaglia, both to the near side. They'll try to sneak it ahead with Shannon Mayer, and he has enough for the first down easily.
They really saw something with that first half when they saw the softness of the nose tackle. They really acknowledged a weakness there and are trying to capitalize, and did capitalize it on it again, and eating up clock, feasting on clock.
Yeah, that goes back to a point you made way back in the first half about how the Eagles have looked at and assessed the Panthers' weaknesses and attacked them. And boy, I couldn't agree more at this point after seeing more of the game. I mean, it just seems like they'll go outside of their normal game to attack a specific weakness, and with great success.
Cheltenham's linebackers are a conspicuous weakness.
Once again, Mayer's lined up as a wide receiver in the slot. Here's Shannon Mayer out of the pocket with flags down. Steps up to throw in the end zone. He has a man,
back.
But there's many flags down.
Back. That's going to be a hold.
So it's Mayer to Mayer for the touchdown, but it's going to come back on the penalties. That was a heck of a throw, though.
It was a great, great throw.
It's a shame it has to come back.
As soon as I saw that hold, there were legitimately 2 of them that could have been called on that play. They don't give numbers because they don't want to throw any of the high school kids under the bus. But there were 2 of them that could have been called on that play.
And, I mean, I know it doesn't mean anything with the penalty, but a great job by Shannon Mayer of starting to run. It seems like so many quarterbacks we've seen in Norristown's past have just been content to try to run. They'll lock in on the run and just look to run. Shannon Mayer scrambles around, but keeps his eyes up the field and is looking to make a play with his arm first, then his feet. And he could do both.
Very good point, Mark. He really wants to throw.
1st and 20. 4 wide receivers. Mayer back to throw. In trouble. Dumps it off, but it's at the feet of Roby, and he can't make the catch.
You can see what happens there when a quarterback can't get his feet under him. He was unable to follow through on that one. He took a hit, took a shot, keeps on going. Roby's back in.
And you like to see that the Eagles, in this long situation, even though it was just first down, are going with the pass, because it seems like they really trust Shannon Mayer. I mean, in some situations, you have a 14-0 lead. You might be content to run the ball on 1st and 20 and, see what you can get, especially when you have a guy like Sheldon Mayer.
Yeah.
But it's clear that they trust Shannon Mayer, and I would definitely trust him.
Rightfully so. when you go with a quarterback, and especially you go with a younger quarterback, you got to go all in. Make your call. Go with your guy. Coach Smith's done a brilliant job of working with this young man.
Here he is throwing again, but he's in some serious trouble. He's got to get rid of it. Still running, and he's brought down for a loss of about 9. Not a good decision.
You know, just as we said something really positive about Mayer, he goes and makes a really bad decision there. He should have thrown that ball away, as you said. He can't do that. Once you start running around that far, throw the ball away.
I mean, that's a rare bad decision, I feel like, for Shannon Mayer. But certainly just throw it away. Don't try to be a hero. Although, fortunately, he didn't throw it up for grabs for an interception. I mean, but still, you don't like to see that.
No.
But Shannon Mayer, for the most part, has been making good decisions this year. 3 wide receivers far side. Here's Shannon Mayer dropping back. They're looking to pick this thing up. They're not playing it safe at all, and they had Sheldon Mayer open, but Shannon could not get the ball to him.
He underthrew him. He'd have picked it up if he'd have picked it up and then some if he'd completed that pass, because he had his brother nice and open on a post route, but just couldn't get it there. The footballs are coming out here at an odd time at Roosevelt Field. On 4th and 28.
Did we miss something?
I don't know. On 4th and 28, the footballs come out, I guess, to celebrate the fact that he didn't get sacked again.
I don't know.
I don't know. Seems like a weird call.
A booming punt from Taylor Hillenbrand. They'll let it go. Waters does. Down to the 2, and it's fielded. That's going to be a touchback. Wow, just missing out on that. Just missing out on pinning Cheltenham at the 1. But still, man, Taylor Hillenbrand has been a great punter for the Eagles so far this year. That frustrates you? Just a little bit? So look at the ball at the 20, 1st and 10, 2 minutes and 49 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Still 14-0 Eagles. The Cheltenham Panthers offense still showing no signs of life.
Sometimes it's good that they don't have a camera on us up in the booth.
That frustrated you that last play a little bit, did it?
Boy, oh boy. That's a coach. You talk about personal fouls and that coach's nightmare. You wasted a really good opportunity there, and I shall never speak of it again.
A bomb thrown by Cropper, up for grabs, and it's bobbled and incomplete. Rouse had to go in and out of his hands. It's a miracle that he's even able to get it to him in that coverage. And, boy, in the end, the Eagles fortunate that he dropped that.
Very fortunate there. First time we've seen any hint of arm strength from anyone.
Yeah, that was a bomb out of nowhere, too. Ill-advised throw, but like I said, the only thing that kept them from getting that huge gain was a drop at the end of it.
He was well covered. Donalfi was all over him, but still, that was a good play in traffic by number 7, Dan Rouse. He just couldn't come down with it.
3 wide receivers. Maybe the Cheltenham Panthers starting to realize they got to start throwing the ball. But they'll bring Waters into the backfield with motion, but they'll hand it off to Lester. And the ball may have come out. The Eagles think they have a fumble recovery, and they do.
And they do. Well, Mark, just as you said, I think the Panthers have learned their lesson. It was clearly made plain that they have not.
Unbelievable. Since that first quarter, everything's gone right for the Eagles. They're lucky that they've scored just 14 points. The Panthers are lucky in that time span. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Eagles. And you want to talk about great field position. Look at this. They're at the 26 of the Panthers.
I really feel better about the Eagles' chances here if they put in a touchdown, but took some time doing it.
Battaglia lined up at wide receiver. You like him in the red zone. They're just outside of that right now, but they can still use him. They'll hand it off. Mayer comes backwards, and now he's in some serious trouble. Trying to bounce it outside. A big block, and Mayer somehow miraculously turns it into a solid gain.
Marcus Beowulf Robbins makes a play and a block there. Again, that was frightening to behold. That was the most spectacular 3-yard gain you're ever likely to see. Robbins is a monster.
It'll be 2nd and 7 now. Numbers 2, 3, and 4 are the wide receivers for the Eagles. That's Roby, Denolfi, and Hill. Mayer up the middle with the quarterback scramble, and he picks up a couple.
Took a nice shot there. You don't like to see your star quarterback take too many hits like that. But let the clock run, guys. I mean, that's your priority here. Doesn't matter if you win 14-0 or 3-0 or 66-0. A win is a win is a win.
Well, the Eagles are coming off of a 41-14 beatdown of Central Bucks South. I mean, all year they've been closer to that 66-0 out of the 3 that you mentioned.
Yeah, I know.
But
maybe they're trying something different tonight.
Yeah. 3rd and 4. At a minute to go in the 3rd quarter now. Denolfi is the halfback with Presley at the fullback spot. He'll give it off to Presley, and he's got a solid gain of about 5 or 6. Looks like he's got a first down.
Looks like he's got a first. Seems like this is a perfect harmony of like where the form and function meet for the Eagles. They're blending their style of play with the harmonious like skills of their players. And Coach Smith is masterfully weaving together this blanket of goodness that is just enveloped Cheltenham tonight. Presley, all cylinders. Sheldon Mayer, what can you say? It's just been a really good game.
But boy, how
And
big
a lot
was
of fun to watch.
that punt return? I mean, if not for that, where would we be right now? It might be a 1-score game. So don't underestimate the big play presence still there for the Eagles as Denolfi picks up a nice solid chunk of yardage. It keeps that clock moving. That's going to end the 3rd quarter.
Big play presence still there, as you said, and all cylinders. Special teams, offense, defense,
Yeah, they're
masterfully done.
just putting on a clinic right now.
Played on expert.
All right, so what one player, in your opinion so far, is the MVP of this game?
What one player? I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say it's big 65 number Marcus.
Okay.
Big number 65 Marcus Robbins. Marcus Robbins has just had a great game in all facets of the arena, and he's been throwing some blocks, and he's one of the unheralded heroes. He's down in the dirt on offense and defense. Great job. Offensively, Mayer, yes, but you can always say Mayer. I'm going to go and say Tracy Presley.